The Cessna 182 Skylane is an American 4-seat single-engine light airplane built by Cessna of Wichita, Kansas. The Cessna 182 is as close to the perfect airplane as you can get. The Cessna Skyplane is well-built, simple, reliable, and it's one of the safest airplanes ever produced. Introduced in 1956, the 182 has been produced in a number of variants, including a version with retractable landing gear, and after the 172 Skyhawk is the second most popular Cessna model still in production. The C-182 is one of the most versatile aircraft ever conceived. The options available on the Skylane are fixed or retractable gear, as well as normally aspirated or turbocharged engines. This creates an aircraft that exceeds expectations with great performance, reliability, and a phenomenal payload. The Cessna 182 was actually designed as a tricycle gear version of the Cessna 180. Tricycle gear aircraft became popular in the 1950s after their introduction during World War II. Tricycle gear aircraft are easier to take off, land, and taxi than conventional gear aircraft, which are better at landing off airport. The turbo option adds a level of complexity, but improvements have been made on this upgrade through the years that bring the maintenance cost and reliability very close to its normally aspirated sibling. That is one of the main reasons this aircraft has held on to its desirability for over a half-century. The aircraft is most commonly used for personal use, light sport, small business use, and as a trainer. Cessna has nearly 300 Cessna Pilot Centers (CPCs) worldwide. There are two major factors in the Skylane, which Cessna allowed owners to mix and match based on their needs and budget. The first one is the landing gear, which can be fixed or retractable. Fixed gear increases drag and thus brings a performance penalty, while the retractable gear increases the aircraft's overall weight and maintenance costs, a given for any additional moving parts added to an airplane. The second variable is the engine type. Between 1956 and 1980, all Cessna 182 models came with a 230 horsepower engine. Originally, these were made by Continental, but a contractual break between the two companies eventually opened the doors for Lycoming engines to be installed. The Cessna 182s has a useful weight of 540 pounds when full loaded with fuel. The Cessna Skylane had a takeoff distance of 1,515 feet and landing distance of 1,350 feet, which enabled it to get in and out of shorter runways. As production continued, later models were improved regularly with features such as a wider fuselage, swept tail fin with rear omnivision window, enlarged baggage compartment, higher gross weights, landing gear changes, etc. The restart aircraft built after 1996 were different in many other details, including a different engine, new seating design, etc. The Skylane 182 is powered by a Lycoming IO540AB1A5 single-piston engine, developing 171.51 kilowatt at 2400 RPM, driving at Macaulay constant speed 3-blade metal propeller. The Turbo 182's Lycoming TIO540AK1A engine develops 175.2451 kilowatt at 2400 RPM, and the Macaulay propeller is heated. All engines used in the family are 6-cylinder models with 230 horsepower for the non-turbocharged versions and 235 horsepower for those with it installed, driving constant speed propeller. The C-182 is perfect for learning to fly, is a staple for flight schools worldwide. It's a great all-round aircraft for most private pilots, and the versatility and utility of the aircraft is almost second to none. The Cessna 182 Skylane family seats up to 4 people, including 1 pilot. Skylanes are available with the Garmin G1000 glass cockpit, which provides all primary flight, engine, and sensor data in real time on two 26.4cm active matrix LCDs. More than half the general aviation aircraft flying today are Cessnas. In November 2006, Cessna announced that Skylanes will be available with the Garmin GFC 700 Automatic Flight Control AFCS and Flight Director FD system, the Wide Area Augmentation System WAAS, Garmin Safe Taxi TM, and Garmin Flight Charts as standard equipment. Chart view powered by Jeppesen is optional. Fuel capacity for the Skylane started at 65 gallons, being expanded to 68 with the Cessna 182R, with an option for a 92-gallon long-range tank add-on. Before this finally became a standard fit on turbocharged aircraft, the fuel is fed by gravity from the wing tanks to the auxiliary fuel pump. This gives most Skylane variants around 6.5 hours in the air or trips as far out as 850 nmi. Electrical power is provided by a 28-volt DC system coupled with a 60-ampere alternator and a 24-volt battery. The 1977 R182 Skylane RG with retractable landing gear increased the cruise speed by about 30 miles per hour to 197 miles per hour or 172 knots. In 1978, the turbo and retractable TR182 Skylane was able to increase cruise speed by 10 to 15%. Overall, a decent cruise speed with all models of the C182 combined with a 1,050-mile range makes this a great all-around choice for the majority of pilots. The Skylane is certified to the requirements of US FAA Federal Aviation Regulation Part 23 through Amendment 23.6, including day-night VFR visual flight rules and IFR instrument flight rules. Enhancements for the aircraft include stainless steel control cables and all-body epoxy corrosion proofing. In 2000, citing market demand, Cessna announced the Skylane 182T. The Turbo 182T is Cessna's latest single-engine aircraft model. Unlike other Cessna high-wing models, which underwent significant aerodynamic refinements and wing redesigns, the 182 has remained largely the same throughout its long service history. The aircraft's best climb rate is 1,030 fpm for the lighter 1959 Cessna 182A, dipping to 865 fpm with the Cessna 182R and picking up again to 925 fpm with the turbocharged T182T. The 4.47 cubic meter cabin is configured for 4 people, 1 to 2 pilots, and a 2-seat bench seat. The cabin is accessed via a 1.04 meter high by 0.87 meter wide on average door. The baggage area and baggage net are aft of the rear seat and is accessed via a 0.56 meter high by 0.4 meter wide door. The Cessna 182 is an all-metal, mostly aluminum alloy aircraft, although some parts such as engine cowling nosebowl and wingtips are made of fiberglass or thermoplastic material. Its wing has the same platform as the smaller Cessna 172 and the larger 205-206 series. However, some wing details such as flap and aileron design are the same as the 172 and are not like the 205 and 206 components. Equipment aboard is powered by 2 primary buses, an essential bus and cross-feed bus between them. A push-to-reset circuit breaker controls the connection of the primary bus to the avionics bus. The gear retraction system in the Skylane uses hydraulic actuators powered by an electrically driven pump. The system includes a gear position warning that emits an intermittent tone through the cabin speaker when the gear is in the retracted position and either the throttle is reduced below approximately 12-inch MAP manifold pressure or the flaps are extended beyond 20 degrees. The Cessna 182's type certificate is filed in the normal category, which prohibits international spins and aerobatic maneuvers. While not rated for aerobatics, the Skylane is popular among pilots for having responsive controls and extremely predictive behavior in the air, giving its pilots plenty of hints and chances to correct mistakes before departure. For those who don't need the warnings, it's also very easy to recover, a feature common to most Cessna high-wing aircraft. The high cost for a new aircraft is a combination of many factors, mainly the overall price growth for general aviation aircraft, the turbocharged engine, and the new top-of-the-line avionics package that comes installed by default, saving the owner from a future similar investment to keep the aircraft in line with new regulations coming into place. The empennage was redesigned to accommodate a slanted rear-view window for better visibility. The mechanically actuated flaps were replaced by electric ones, and the cabin's dimensions were revised for additional comfort. There were some major milestones in Skylane production. The aircraft initially had the iconic square-tip vertical stabilizer in its first models, but this was replaced with a swept one in 1960 with the introduction of the Cessna 182C. To help with ground stability, the 182D in 1961 shortened the landing gear legs. If you think something about Cessna 182 should be in this video, let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the following videos here.